This is QTV News. I am Mariettu Sidibe and thanks for joining us. Coming up, I will not step down in December, President Barrow told a rally in Birkama on Saturday. Two UDP supporters and a former APRC National Assembly member, Duta Kamaso, Monday testified at the ongoing TRRC public hearings. The Gambia joined the rest of the continent to commemorate the Day of the African Child. Nostra Senior Secondary School graduates over 500 students. For more on this and other stories coming up, stay tuned. President Barrow has vowed to stay on as president to the end of his 5-year mandate in 2021, thereby dismissing calls to step down at the end of the 3 years as agreed by coalition members in 2016. The president ended any lingering doubts about his intentions to stay on or leave while speaking at the rally in Birkama on Saturday. Alusise reports.
President Barrow arrived to a park house at the SSP football ground in Birkama for a political rally organized by the West Coast chapter of the Barrow National Fan Club. The president told the crowd no one can stop him from completing the 5-year constitutional mandate given to him by the Gambian voters. The president had said in the past that politics is over until 2021, in effect calling for a national effort to develop the country. However, his opponents could justifiably claim that his presence at Saturday's rally contradicts his statement. Speaking Mandinka, he told the cheering crowd, "Whether you like it or not, I will rule till 2021 because this is the mandate given to me by the Constitution." To those intending to replace him in the highest political office, President Barrow jokingly asked him to wait until 2021 when Gambians next go to the polls to elect their next president. Many people, mostly his opponents, have blamed what they claim the country's underdevelopment on President Barrow's low educational achievements. Hitting back at them, Barrow questioned the whereabouts of the self-claimed educated ones when Gambians needed them to take on Jammeh. He used the rally to assure Gambians of his government's commitment to developing the country while calling for concerted efforts to achieve the desired outcomes. He commended the organizers of the rally and those who responded. Speaking earlier, Hamad Bah, Minister of Tourism and Culture and leader of the NRP party, sided with Adama Barrow, saying President Barrow should remain in power until 2021. Arguing that the president was given a certificate of return by the Independent Electoral Commission to rule for 5 years.
You are a president of the Republic of this country and remains the president of the Republic of the Gambia for the next years up to 2021. This is not in doubt. You were elected with given a certificate of return by the Independent Electoral Commission chairman, stating that you have been elected for 5 years. Nobody can undo that in this country.
Also speaking at the rally, Interior Minister Ibrahim Barrow warned against any unlawful demonstration. He confirmed the arrival of a water cannon in the country as a means of crowd control during a protest. Information and Communication Minister Ibrahim Silla said the free Wi-Fi promise made to the people of Birkama is on course to being delivered.
The National Broadband Network is here to support the indigenous businesses of this country.
Several speakers at the rally, among them former GDC supporters Mambajik Njai and Panjai Girigara, US-based Memuna Dabo Sise of UDP, GPDP party leader Henry Gomez, Majanko Samuels of NCP, Lamin Jata and Undanyang, both former UDP turned Barrow supporters, Bobo Bojang of West Coast Region Council of Elders, Lady Councilor Fatu Cham and Birkama Area Council Chairman Sirif Sanko, all assured President Barrow of their support. They vowed to back the president if he intends to contest in the 2021 elections. Interestingly, none of the speakers directly addressed why they felt the coalition agreement requiring President Barrow to stand down after 3 years was being disregarded. After all, when it was signed, all of the signatories' new constitutional stipulation on the length of the term for presidency. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Two UDP supporters and a former APRC National Assembly member, Duta Kamaso, Monday testified at the ongoing TRRC public hearings. Their testimonies were in relation to their unlawful arrest and victimization between 1997 and 2006. QTV's Ansumana Esonyasi tells us more.
Appearing before commissioners of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, two UDP supporters, Tata Kamara Sise and Binta Kuyate, and former APRC Member of Parliament, Honorable Duta Kamaso, testified at the ongoing public proceedings. Their testimonies focused mainly on their alleged unlawful arrest, detention, and subsequent victimization. First up was Tata Kamara Sise, who says she is the UDP's women's mobilizer for the Central River region. She claimed to have worked as a women's councillor under the PPP regime for 30 years and that her troubles began when she joined the UDP. She further told the commission that after several attempts by former CRR Commissioner Major Bojang to get her to join the APRC, she was arrested and detained for 23 days without charge and was denied access to a lawyer and her one-year-old baby.
When
I arrived, I knocked at the door and the door was opened. My whole body was...
I was so sick that all over my body had pimples all over me, even in my mouth. There were pimples there. I was very, very sick when I arrived at Mr. Dabo's compound.
Can you tell us what happened when you arrived at Mr. Dabo's compound?
Afonye mune natake briefleta Mr. Dabo la korda.
Abirumfura ya muso minkata aja mayindur kabira anja kumbota ejikanto bondi kael hanin muka fenne mutano.
When I arrived,
Dr. Bodni Kambalo Beku, for him Balu Yambulan Motokonan, Dr. Cicele Clinic, Yelandije, Amura Domoro de Danye, I asked some Dr. Stephanie Domoro de Yadina.
Next to testify was former APRC Member of Parliament for Woolly East, Honorable Duta Kamaso. The witness told the commission she was arrested in May 2006, expelled from the APRC party, and detained at the National Intelligence Headquarters without charge, only to be released in October 2006. Her only crime, she alleges, was being vocal in Parliament, especially against bills not in the national interest. She also alleged former Speaker Fatmata Jahumpa Sise was complicit in her arrest.
Do you know if there were any other reasons apart from supplying information to Freedom newspaper why you were arrested? For example, what you've just mentioned, having grievances against certain APRC members of Parliament.
Already I told you I was a National Assembly member. And I could read and write, and I understand when you bring laws to me that are to be implemented in the Parliament, and I do disagree with some of them. So I never had interest with them in certain issues. But I knew that the National Assembly always goes by the eye. So when the eyes are plenty, they have it.
Are you saying that perhaps part of the reason you were arrested was because you were vocal about certain issues?
Yes,
and you did not toe the APRC party line?
Yes.
The final witness was Binta Kuyate, a native of Brikamaba, who described herself as a staunch supporter of the UDP. She alleged she was arrested at a rally in Brikamaba in 2012 after the then URL Governor Ganye Toure ordered for her arrest. The witness alleged she was detained in Communicado at Janjambure prison, and that for 23 days she was not allowed to take a bath or change clothes. She told the commission she was detained in a cell infested with maggots and human feces.
all this suffering has been caused by Ngany. Ngany has made my life difficult. He has brought warfare on me. He has made me to suffer. And I have done nothing to him.
Furthermore, she also told the commission that she was brought before the court after her release but was acquitted after a 4-month trial. She also alleged that her husband was seriously taken ill and died as a result of the humiliation the family suffered under the directives of former URL Governor Ganye Toure. Answana Esonyasi for QTV News.
On Sunday, in the West Coast region of Buyam, the Gambia joined the rest of the continent to commemorate the Day of the African Child. Organized by Child Fund the Gambia and its partners, the theme for this year's commemoration is Children's Participation in Humanitarian Action. Babukar C tells us more.
The day, commemorated on June 16th every year since 1991, when it was first initiated by the Organization of African Unity, honors the young people who participated in the Soweto uprising in 1976 on that day. It also seeks to raise awareness of the ongoing need for improvement of the education provided to African children. The 2019 commemorations themed its children's participation in humanitarian action. Child Fund's country director, Musukuta Koma, described the day as important to every African child, stressing that in the Gambia, the basic needs should be provided for children as they are tomorrow's leaders.
International Humanitarian Organization, Child Fund is always committed to all the underlying principles of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. These are non-discrimination, survival, life and development, the best interest of the child, and the participation or consideration to the views of the children. These principles are equally crucial to the realization of Child Fund's vision, which is a world in which every child realizes their rights and achieve their potential.
The Speaker of the Children's National Assembly, Sarata Sise, said the children of the Gambia recognizes the role authorities play in protecting them and providing the necessities for a better future. However, she raised concerns about relevant issues yet to be addressed.
We the children still continue to be subjected to certain situations which are really affecting our rights to participate in national development, right to education, and more importantly, right to life, survival, and development. We the children are also concerned that children continue to be forced into marriage at the expense of their education that steals their dreams, particularly the girl child. We also concerned that female genital mutilation continues to be practiced in some communities in the Gambia, even though there is a law banning that act. We are also concerned that over the high prevalence of teenage pregnancy, which curtails girls' education, hence preventing them from playing active role in both community and national development initiatives. We the children therefore strongly recommend the following. Government and its partners renew their leadership and commitment in the ending all forms of violence against children as a national priority, and to develop the strengthening a holistic strategy to end abuse, neglect, violence, and exploitation of children in the Gambia and the world at large.
After the two-day gathering in the West Coast region, the children passed a resolution called the Buyam Call to Action, highlighting key areas of children's needs and where they want to see the government action for their welfare. Madeline Mendy tells us part of the resolution.
We passed a lot of things. We are working on a project which is safe road crossing for girls, and we want the government to take that into consideration because most of the children here are being faced with, they either have road accidents or they are faced with other injuries on their body. And secondly, we want the government to take into consideration about menstruation, some of the stigmatization girls face when menstruation. And also we want to appeal to the government to donate pads to all schools so that at least when girls are menstruating, they will not have to go back home, which is going to affect their education, and they have a right to education.
In Soweto, South Africa, on June 16, 1976, about 10,000 black school children marched in a column more than half a mile long, protesting the poor quality of their education. Hundreds of young students were shot and more than 100 people were killed in the protests over the following 2 weeks, with more than 1,000 injured. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Nostra Senior Secondary School has graduated over 500 students at a passing out ceremony held on Saturday at the school's premises in Bundung. Alusise reports.
The students were graduated after completing a 3-year senior secondary school course, which culminated in sitting to the 2018-29 West African Senior School Certificate Examination WAST. Located in the Kanifi municipality, Nostra is one of the leading senior secondary schools in the Gambia. Established in May 1970, the first batch of the students started in September 1971. Karamo S. Bojang, longtime principal of the school, congratulated the graduates. He announced that the graduation was the last he would preside over as principal of Nostra. He has this advice for them.
Schools are not expected to charge fee. There is no full fees or there is no big bill paid to any school. Whether it's Nostra Senior Secondary School or any other senior secondary school that is run by government.
Guest Speaker Jibairu Jane, a former student and current head of communications at the National Assembly of the Gambia, said all will not be rosy as they prepare to face the real challenges of life.
You will realize that this world is not as we thought. It is a challenging experience. You will be working extra harder to earn a living, and you will do so amidst very limited resources, so much precious demand on your time, and so many disincentives to achieve it. But what needs to be understood is that the world out there is not a battleground for success. Life is a journey. Every human being takes his or her own route to the destination.
The guest of honor, Ms. Fatu A. Kamara, currently a final year law student of the University of the Gambia, advised the graduates to take their own paths and never allow to be distracted. She said they should have passion and pursue their dreams. Nostra Senior Secondary School is one of the many educational institutions run in various African countries by the worldwide Ahmadiyya movement in Islam. For well over a quarter century now, Nostra has become a household name in the country. It has produced graduates, many of whom are greatly contributing to the socio-economic development of the country. The event was chaired by Mr. Musaba, a teacher at the school and a highly respected writer. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
A nationwide tour to sensitize rural Gambian students on the importance of university education kicked off on Monday. Students of the University of the Gambia School of Social Science and Humanities Students Association and the Science Students Association, the joint organizers, will tour the regions and inspire young students. Maria Tussar has more.
The 2019 nationwide tour is an annual summer event conducted by two vibrant students associations, the Social Science and Humanitarian Students Association, SOSA, and the SSA under the School of Arts and Sciences in the University of the Gambia. Each year, students within the university voluntarily offer teaching and learning sessions to senior secondary students and communities. They also set out to sensitize students in the provinces not fortunate enough to know the process and requirements for university education. Prior to their departure, the students gathered at the Birkama Chancery Building for the tour's official commencement. This year's theme is Nurturing the Spirit of Unionism and Patriotism for National Development. Emmanuel Hassan, the representative of the Dean of the School of Arts and Science, emphasized on the students' attitude during the tour, reminding them that they serve as ambassadors of the University of the Gambia.
The Dean has some special brief instructions. He said, have fun, have a safe journey. Most of all, do not forget that you are representing the University of the Gambia. Each one of you is an ambassador. Your behavior, your attitudes will represent the university. And I want to believe that these are one of the best people in the country going out to pull other people and say, come along with us, let's come to prosperity.
Mehmet Akif Yijin from the Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency, TICA, explains the importance of university education and how Turkey has contributed to the development of the Gambia's higher educational sector.
This tour is aimed at sensitizing local communities, particularly those in rural Gambia, on the importance of university education. Ladies and gentlemen, education is very important in the process of transforming this country. Also, there cannot be development if the young people are not given the education needed. As you may know, in the area of higher education and training, Turkey has been supporting the Gambia for many decades. Many young Gambians have benefited from the Turkish government scholarship package. Today, as we speak, There are many Gambian graduates who graduated from some of the best universities in Turkey.
University of the Gambia Students' Union representative Amadou Oba urged students during the tour to portray the best image of the university wherever they go.
I just want to remind you as university students, it is our constitutional responsibility as students of the University of the Gambia to always sell the best image of the university. He said it in his speech earlier. We are ambassadors, and we are the image that every Gambian we are meeting will associate the University of the Gambia with. This caravan is not a caravan that we embark on in order to get fun. It is important we have fun, as stated earlier, but we should back ourselves with one very important ideology, and that is this. We are ambassadors that are going to teach the country that the University of the Gambia is a taxpayer's money, and as such, every Gambian from the remotest of this country has the equal opportunity to come and study.
Reporting for QTV News, I am Maria Tussar.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's take a quick look at our main stories. President Barrow has vowed to stay on as president to the end of his 5-year mandate in 2021, thereby dismissing calls to step down at the end of the 3 years as agreed by coalition members in 2016. The president ended any lingering doubts about his intentions to stay on or leave while speaking at a rally in Birkama on Saturday. 2 UDP supporters and a former APRC National Assembly member, Duta Kamaso, Monday testified at the ongoing TRRC public hearings. Their testimonies were in relation to their unlawful arrest and victimization between 1997 and 2006. The Gambia joined the rest of the continent to commemorate the Day of the African Child. Organized by Child Fund the Gambia and its partners, the theme for this year's commemoration is Children's Participation in Humanitarian Action. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.